So oh shoot, I almost just fell. I've had this friend on Facebook for quite a while, like a long time. I mean, I don't know, the past like 3 or 4 years or so. And I knew her, like I rode with her a couple times, like on trail rides and stuff. Like I knew her, but we weren't friends or anything, you know, we were just like acquaintances. So one thing I notice about this girl is she goes through horses like crazy. I mean, it seems like every year she's got different horses, except for this one horse. She has one horse she won't get rid of because she just loves him to death, and was her first horse, and yada yada. She won't get rid of him because she's too attached to him, basically. And she's got like 3 or 4 other horses that she constantly is buying and selling and finding problems with, getting rid of, and whatever. So, her husband like started riding with her and whatnot, and they had this old bay horse, and he was like pretty dead broke. I mean, basically a bomb-proof, like old gelding, been there, done that. Literally anyone can jump on him and ride him. He has no problems, but he's old and he's skinny and, you know, just those typical really old horse stuff. He's not very healthy. He's, you know, underweight and stuff like that, slowing down. And so they've been looking for other horses, and they got this paint horse, which is a really good gelding, but she like fell off of him and then was too scared to get back on him and whatever, and so they like don't ride him anymore. And then her husband decided to get another horse, right? So her husband bought this Grula gelding, super beautiful horse, and literally they had him for like 2 months or something, like if that, maybe not even that. He bucked one time, so they sold him. And so they bought this other gelding. Are you guys still following me? They bought another gelding, chestnut gelding, and literally bought him in the fall, so like fall of 2016 or something, and hadn't ridden him because like who rides in the wintertime unless you have a heated barn, you know, like not a lot of people. So they have this chestnut gelding that they just bought, and they're just gonna let him sit throughout the winter and ride him again in the spring, right? So spring comes along, and I literally see her husband post on Facebook in one of the horse groups I'm in, this horse for sale, right? So I'm like not really surprised. I'm just like, okay, whatever, the freaking another horse for sale, I'm not surprised. Literally the description was really nice gelding, good bloodlines, has been sitting all winter, is probably a little bit buddy sour, and I don't want to deal with it. Are you fucking kidding me right now? Like, are you freaking kidding me? You're honestly, you have to be kidding right now. Like, I was just like, why? Seriously? Seriously. Like, these are the type of people that should not own horses. Like, you buy this horse literally like 3 or 4 months ago, and you decided to let him sit all winter, okay, because you didn't want to ride him. And now that spring comes along and you want to ride him, he might be a little bit buddy sour. Like, you don't even know. He might be. You don't even know because you haven't ridden him yet. He might be a little buddy sour, and you don't want to deal with it. Like, honestly, people, like, you want to ride horses because you enjoy horses, aka you want them to be your machine where you can just jump on them and do whatever you want and they'll be perfectly fine with it. But when a horse does like a normal horse thing, you don't want to deal with it. Like, okay, why do you own horses then? Why are you even in the horse community? Why do you even own horses? Like, you don't want to deal with horses doing natural horse behavior, like normal horse things. Horses are herd animals. They get a little buddy sour sometimes. Big freaking deal. If you bought this horse and he was so well broke, like 1 or 2 rides, you could probably fix that problem, don't you think? Like, are you that scared of the horse that because he's a little bit buddy sour, he's just gonna like go crazy or something? I've really literally dealt with so many buddy sour horses. it's not a big freaking deal. Like, you ride away and they might whinny and want to turn around a couple times, but honestly, you're so arrogant that you don't even want to take a couple rides to work your horse out of it, that you're just going to sell him and find him a different home. It's stressful enough for horses to go from home to home to home, trying to get into this herd and trying to work its way into this herd, that you seriously have had this horse for like 3 to 4 months and now you're going to get rid of it because you're that much of an arrogant piece of crap that you don't even want to work with him. Like, a couple rides, honestly, why do these people own horses then? Like, go out and spend $5,000 on a dead broke, bomb-proof, trail-ridden, spook-proof, freaking show, trail, whatever horse, and stop bitching about it then. Don't go out and buy a $500 horse and expect them to not have any problems. They literally do this all the time. Like, they'll buy and sell these horses because they find one thing wrong with them. Same thing with the Grula gelding. Bucked one time and they decided to sell him. And you know why? Because I've known these people for a while and they're very timid. Like, they get scared so easily. Like, the horse does one thing and it's like, oh my gosh, my confidence is gone, I don't want to ride him anymore. Like, seriously, the horse did one thing because he's probably testing you because he knows that you're afraid of him. This horse that their paint gelding, so they went to this like trail obstacle place, right? And they had one of those steps, like there's steps in the ground, and the horse was gonna go up the step, right? So the horse jumps up the step. She wasn't even ready, or like wasn't even preparing for him to jump up there. She goes over his head and does a somersault and lands on the ground. She was perfectly fine. It wasn't the horse's fault at all. The horse was just going up the step like he was supposed to. Literally loses all her confidence, doesn't want to ride him anymore because she's scared. Like, I get when people fall off, it's scary, you don't want to get back on, but honestly, it wasn't even the horse's fault. Like, the horse didn't do a single thing wrong. She just wasn't seated correctly, wasn't ready for him to jump. Like, so now this horse knows that she's afraid of him and has these other problems where he's biting and testing her. Like, and then they bitch and complain about it on Facebook all the time. And I'm just like, literally, these are such explainable reasons, but they won't take anyone else's advice. And now you have this good horse that has done nothing wrong to you. You haven't even ridden him yet, but you don't want to deal with him, so you're just going to sell him and put him through the stress of finding another home and another owner. You're just going to explain to that owner that, you know, I just don't feel like riding him because he might be Buddy Sour, so. Well, you might as well not even freaking ride horses then, okay? Go ride the bay old gelding that's never gonna do anything wrong because he's too old and weak to do anything, to even bother with you, and you might as well just ride him until he dies because that's how horses are. So, I'm sorry, but I had to rant a little bit because, like, why do these people own horses? Like, I don't understand. Why are you in the horse world if you don't want to deal with horses?